Hello students, today we are going to see about the losses and the efficiency of the electrical machines. So losses, what is the term? Indicate losses and the efficiency. So on behalf of Padimala Institute of Technology, I am N. Karthikeyan, Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. We are going to discuss about the GATE coaching, the topic of losses and efficiency calculation of electrical machine. So basically, we cannot be able to build any machine. So if you consider any machine, we cannot be able to build without losses. So the losses is mandatory. So we cannot be able to omit the losses. That's why we need to consider what are the losses present in the electrical machines. So first of all, which type of losses we have? First, constant loss. Second thing, variable loss and mechanical losses. For example, if it is a rotating machine, we must consider about the mechanical losses. So let me see one by one. What are the losses? The constant loss, that is mainly iron loss. If it is a transformer, if it is a electrical rotating machine like induction motor, DC machines, anything, we have a constant loss in the iron loss. So iron loss is a constant loss. So to avoid the losses, we are built the machine by using the laminated silicon steel to reduce the iron loss. So iron loss have two divisions, especially hysteresis losses and eddy current losses. So hysteresis losses is reduced by hysteresis losses is reduced by making the machine using them once again they make the machine using silicon steel. It is made up of silicon steel and it is also a otherwise called as soft iron material to avoid the hysteresis losses. But in this case, we are just reducing the losses only. We cannot be able to remove the losses. Then eddy current loss. So how can we reduce the eddy current loss? We are using laminated sheet. So every sheet have the laminated, that is there is some insulation in between the two sheets to avoid the eddy current losses. So in this also we can able to reduce the losses, but we cannot able to emit the losses. Then variable loss. So in the variable loss, the main loss is copper loss. So copper loss does not indicate only they happen in the copper material. So it is a common term used in the electrical field because 99 percentage of winding, 99.99 percentage of winding is made by copper. So we are called as copper loss. Otherwise, it is called I squared R loss. So it is otherwise called as I squared R loss, and it is a variable loss too. So once we reduce the losses means we can be able to increase the efficiency of the machine. So let me go to the 8th question. For the given traction application, for a given traction application using a DC series motor, for a starting time T is applied. For a starting time T is applied. if this method is replaced by a series parallel control. So we know that the DC motor have a different speed control. The speed control is varied by shunt motor and series motor. If it is a series motor, we have different control, voltage control method and a deviation of winding. So here they are using series parallel control. That means we are connecting the winding in series and parallel, giving 50 percentage time for each series and parallel. So 50 percentage time for each series parallel connections. Next is saving in the starting energy of. Saving in the starting energy of. This is our question. So we have four different answers. One is 25 percentage, second one is 0 percentage, and the third one is 50 percentage, and the fourth one is 75 percentage. So we have 25 percentage. So initially let the energy utilized was 100 percentage for a time t. Then for a 50 percentage duration of series, energy is used 50 percentage. For a parallel operation, the same circuit, the resistance get off, assumed that the same issue. So for 50 percentage of the parallel operation, 25 percentage of energy is only utilized. Hence the total saving is 25 percentage. So the answer is 25 percentage. Then if two series motor identically coupled, if two series motor are identically coupled, one is running as one is running as motor while other as generator. So here one motor is running as motor and another is running as generator. For this combination, the iron losses and friction losses are found identical, or we have four different answers: identical, identical speed and excitation, identical speed and excitation, identical speed, identical rating and construction, none of the mentioned. So we have different four answers. That one is A, for a same iron and friction losses. Same frequency should be there. For the same speed must be there. So that we have identical speed and excitation. So hysteresis loss in the DC machine is the hysteresis loss in the DC machine is dash of the flow of air and dash of the frequency of. So here it is, even though it is a DC machine, it has also the hysteresis loss because the armature possesses the AC. Due to that, we have the hysteresis loss. Even though the machine is made up of silicon steel, we have some hysteresis loss. So in the loss is, we have four different options: independent, dependent, and magnetic reversal. Then independent, dependent, and operation. Third one is dependent, independent, So third one is dependent, independent, magnetic reversal. And fourth one is none of the mentioned. So here the answer is A. The hysteresis loss in a DC machine is dependent of a rate of flow of air and dependent on frequency of magnetic reversal. So the answer is A. Then we would so in DC machine, iron losses causes heat in core, loss in efficiency, rise in temperature of ventilating air, all of the mentioned. So DC machine iron losses. So the iron losses in the machine, it may be differed due to the nature. For example, iron loss, copper loss, and mechanical losses like a friction. All the losses are dissipated in the form of heat only. So let me see the answer. So the iron loss causes heating of the core. So the core is made up of iron material. So the iron loss is also a role a important part in the production of heat. So these losses make the machine temperature rise. So we know that all the losses produced in the machine, even though it have many names, all the losses are dissipated in the form of heat only. So the removing the heat from the machine is a major task for the designing of machine. So here the DC machine iron losses causes heating in core. So squirrel cage. For squirrel cage and slip ring induction motor, cooling method is efficient in. So cooling methods. So what is cooling methods? So we are removing the heat. So the heat generated by the machine is due to iron loss, copper loss, and mechanical losses. These losses are dissipated in only in the form of heat. So the rising of heat will affect the performance of the machine. For example, if the heat increase ultimately as a physical property, the structure of the moving component and the component present in the machine is altered. This is the first point. Second thing, so we are providing the insulation. So insulation, we know that there is a barrier between the uh, conductor and the earth part. So that also sensitive in temperature. So once the temperature reach the above above safety level, it will damage the insulator. So we need to consider, we must protect the machine by maintaining the temperature as much as possible. So due to that, we must remove the generated heat from the machine to the atmosphere. That is our first task. Due to that, we have different based on their construction. For example, if we take a generator or a alternator, so it have two types. One is salient pole alternator and non-salient pole alternator. So in the salient pole alternator, the diameter is large, but the axial length is very low. But in case of non-salient pole alternator, the diameter is low and the axial length is very long. Due to that, the non-salient alternator have some difficulties to cool down. For example, the heat generator in the middle part, heat generated in the middle part of the core is not easily removed by the circulating air. In this way, the question is appeared for a squirrel cage and slip ring induction motor, cooling method is efficient in squirrel cage induction motor, slip ring induction motor, both of the motor, none of the mentioned. So as a squirrel cage induction motor has more ventilation and more space as compared to slip ring induction motor. There will be a more efficient way to cool down the squirrel cage induction motor. So we know the difference between the squirrel cage and a slip ring induction motor. So squirrel cage induction motor, the rotor is fully sealed. We cannot be able to control or rearrange the rotor. It is like a solid structure. So it is mechanically very strong. We can able to provide the cooling, ventilating ducts, each thing in the squirrel cage machine. But in case of slip ring, we need to provide the electrical winding same as the stator. So we have three-phase electrical winding same as a stator in the rotor, and all the end connections is connected with slip rings. So we can add the external resistance to control the machine. So due to that, it is mechanically weak when compared to the squirrel cage induction motor. So cooling provision also we can easily provide in squirrel cage motor. If one of the phase of the supply breakdown, if one of the phase of the supply breakdown, then the connected three-phase induction motor continue to run as a single phase induction motor, provide load does not increase beyond 57.7%, stop operation after few seconds, continues to run as single phase induction motor, continue to run as two phase induction motor. So first we must understand how the three-phase induction motor is working. So then only we can able to clearly answer this question. So in three-phase induction motor we have mainly two parts, stator and rotor. So stator is made up of laminated silicon steel to reduce the hysteresis and eddy current losses. Then the slots are fixed in the inner periphery. The purpose of slots is to provide the stator winding. A three-phase stator winding is fixed in the slots. So each slots are fixed with 120-degree angle displacement. So the purpose of this arrangement is to get the rotating magnetic field. So then rotor. So rotor is also made up of laminated silicon steel, and the slots is fixed in the outer periphery. So stator in case inner periphery, and in case of rotor it is in outer periphery. So then rotor conductors are fixed in the slots. Rotor conductors are fixed in the slots, and the end of the rotor conductor, if it is a squirrel cage, all are short circuited with end rings. So here also it is made up of laminated silicon steel to reduce the hysteresis and eddy current loss, and the stator and rotor is fixed with a minimum amount of air gap. So to avoid the leakage magnetic field. So how much we can reduce the air gap means that will increase the magnetic leakage stage. Then come to our point. So while you providing the three-phase supply, it producing the rotating magnetic field, because R phase with Y phase we have 120-degree angle displacement. So this displacement make the supply magnetic field as a running LED as analogy. So it have the rotating magnetic field. This rotating magnetic field is otherwise called the synchronous speed. So the speed of the rotating magnetic field is directly depend upon the frequency and supply. So another concept is the rotor rotate in the same direction of rotating magnetic field. Due to that, we can able to change the rotor direction. We can simply reverse the rotating magnetic field by changing the phase sequence. Now come to the problem. There is a no starting issue, because in this problem they are clearly said that the motor is in a running condition. So due to that, there is a no issue of starting, and here the issue is maintaining the speed. So once the single phase is discontinued, this is due to fusing of breakers or some electrical malfunctioning or fuse blowout. Due to some reason, one single phase is open. There is no supply in the one single phase. Due to that, the machine continue to run as a single phase motor, because we are providing just two supply. So when one phase of the breakdown, then the other two phases will supply the rated current, but the load should be reduced to 57.7%, because once the one single phase is not working, so other phase have the responsible to rotate the machine. So at the time the two phases are overloaded to maintain the load, if the load maintain constant. So but the machine can reduce 57.7%. Then if the one of the phase of R, Y, B supply get broken, then the temperature rise of the motor. So important questions. So why we discussed about the temperature rise? Any one of them? So why we discussed here about the temperature rise? Because in normal condition we have the constant temperature rise in the machine. So it maintain not a 0 degree or room temperature. It is little bit higher than the room temperature and maintain that temperature as constant due to the ventilations. So now the situation is changed because we did not have the full supply. Due to that, we need to consider the temperature rise because if one of the supply is removed or broken, now the two supply is maintain the motor as in the running condition. At the time, there is a lag in the magnetizing component. This is because the other two phases are trying to maintain the same speed. So it absorbs more magnetizing current from the supply. Due to that, it lead to lagging power factor. So if we did not consider about the power factor, and it also absorb more current from the supply. So, but the issue of this problem is rise in temperature. So, if the motor is in the running condition, the current flow in the armature will remain same. So, to maintain the flux requirement of the machine, hence the temperature rise also remains same as the current and the temperature also constant. So the reducing of temperature is not possible. Then we move to the next problem. A three-phase induction motor is connected to infinite bus bar. A three-phase induction motor is connected to the infinite bus operating at the normal condition. At a normal condition. There occurs an unbalancing in the supply lead to. So three-phase induction motor is connected to the infinite bus operating at the normal condition. There occurs an unbalancing in the supply lead to unequal heating losses, stopping of motor, increase in lower, none of the mentioned. So the answer is unbalancing in the supply phase will create an unbalancing distribution of the current in the phases. So thereby unequal heating. So if the three-phase induction motor is connected to infinite bus operating at the normal condition, there occur an unbalancing in the supply lead to unbalancing in the supply phase will create an unbalanced distribution. So unbalanced here indicates the unbalanced supply. So unbalance in the supply phase will be create an unbalanced distribution of current. So they will distribute the unbalanced current. So every phase have unequal current value. They will lead to unequal heating. So if the high current flowing winding get highly raised temperature, otherwise the other have normal temperature. So peak voltage supply is given to the three-phase power transformer of the connection power system. The result in so peak voltage supply is given to the three-phase power transformer of the connection power system, connected power system. That is the result in reduction in the iron losses, reduction in copper losses, increase in iron losses, reduction in noise. So we have four different answers. So reduction in iron losses, reduction in copper losses, increase in iron losses, reduction in noise. If you see the answer. So we have the A. The flux wave will be sinusoidal in nature. Sinusoidal in nature as a EMF is sinusoidal in nature as the EMF in peaking in nature. Or so the flux wave will be sinusoidal in nature as the EMF is peakly in nature. So sine wave have least losses when compared to the other waveform. So we have designed the machine and it is used in the sine wave only. So we are designing the machine using sine wave only because if you provide the sine wave, it have least amount of heat generation and a harmonic generation. Due to that, we are preferred the sinusoidal waveform, but we cannot able to get the actual sine actual sine, but we can able to reach nearly. Okay, so we cannot able to obtain 100% sinusoidal, fully sinusoidal, but we can reach the nearly sinusoidal. Even it may be a normal alternating generator, we can reach nearly sinusoidal waveform, not a pure waveform. We are just learn about the theory form. So a peak voltage, peak voltage supply is given to the three-phase power transformer of a connected power system that result in a reduction in iron losses. So iron loss is a saturated three-phase alternator is less than the non-saturated three-phase alternator. So saturated, so it's a non-saturated reaction is greater than the saturation reactance. So the reactor loss are Iron loss will reduce due to lesser contribution of the same. So the answer is A. So saturation. What's the term saturation? So once the machine reaches its designed limit or nature limit, it is a saturated three-phase alternator is less than the non-saturated three-phase alternator. So true. So hydroelectric plant in the industries are best situated in closed circuit air cooling, hydrogen gas, direct water, all the mentioned. So hydroelectric plant. So we know that the hydroelectric plant is nothing but the power generated from the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy in the water is converted into mechanical rotating force, that is mechanical energy. Then it is converted into electrical energy by using the alternator connected or coupled with the turbine. So here we did not going to read about how the generator is working. So here we are going to concentrate on cooling method. So cooling method, we have four different options: closed circuit air cooling, and hydrogen gas, and direct water, or demineralized water. Here include water. All of the mentioned. So first, which type of generator required hydrogen cooling? This is very important. So turbine turbo alternator mostly designed with hydrogen gas cooling. So let me see the answer. The closed circuit is so used to reduce the air system. So water, save water again in the cooling system. So why it will happen? Because the concept is because we have already discussed, we have two different alternator. First one is salient pole alternator. First one is salient pole alternator. Second one is non-salient pole alternator. So basically, what is the difference between salient and non-salient? So non-salient, the length is very long, axial length is very long, but the diameter is low when compared to the salient. So salient type alternator, the diameter is high, but the axial length is very low. So due to that, the length of the core is very low. So when the length of the core is low means we can able to pass the air easily, that is cooling air. But in case of non-salient machine, the passing of cooling air is not possible. So we cannot be able to pass the cooling air in the middle part, not a side part, because all the cooling fans are present in the side of the machine. Due to that, we cannot be able to pass the cooled air to the middle part. Once it reaches the middle part means it is always the temperature is high. So it cannot be able to remove the high temperature present in the core. So due to that, the middle part of the machine is always high temperature, but the side part of the machine is always in low temperature. So because it absorbs the heat by the sudden inrush current. So the sudden inrush current will absorb the heat from the side part and carried out. But in case of middle phase, it is difficult to absorb the heat. Due to that, the middle part have more heat than the side part. So this is the basic idea. Now come to the our question. The hydroelectric power plant. So the word indicate hydroelectric power plant. We are using salient type machine. So once you read the hydropower plant means the salient pole machine. The diameter of the salient pole machine is very high. So then length of the salient pole machine is very low. So we did not require the high cost of cooling type, that is hydrogen gas and direct water. So the both are very high in the cost because hydrogen have the, we know that it is a flammable gas. Another thing, we must protect the gas. So it is very light gas. Due to that, the maintenance is very high. Another thing, water. So we cannot able to pump the groundwater. So we must demineralize the water first, then only we can pump the water through the armature coil, that means winding, that means conductor. So the conductor is the hollow in the middle. We need to pass the water through the conductor. So this is difficult to design, space, many things. So we did not require such complicated construction because the salient mold machine is a very low axial length. Due to that, we can easily cool down the machine by using the air. Then the short circuit load losses is R. What is short circuit? So let me find the first one by one answer. Direct load losses and stay load losses, direct load losses, stay losses, field current losses. So the answer is short circuit losses comprise of direct load losses and stay losses. Then we move to the problem. So this is a alternator problem. So a 100 kVA, 100 kVA, 400 volt, 3 phase, 100 kVA, 400 volt, 3 phase, star connected. So if you read about the alternator means mostly it is star connected. If they are not mentioned means you can take it as a star connection. So star connected alternator due to the following data. So we have different data: friction and vintage losses. So friction and vintage loss is equal to 340 watt. Then open circuit core loss is equal to 480 watt. Then RF is equal to 180 ohms. RA is equal to 0.02 ohms. The voltage applied to the field winding is, the voltage applied to the field winding is 220 volt. So field winding means excitation. The short circuit load loss at a half full load is, we need to identify. So we have four different answers: 258 watt, 268 watt, 480 watt, 340 watt. So the answer is the short circuit losses at half load is equal to 3 into IA divided by 2 squared into RA. So here the IA is identified by using the 100 kVA 400 volt. So IAC we can able to identify the armature current. Then we applying the RA is equal to 0.02. So the in short circuit IA is equal to 258 watts. Then the same data we have the different problem. The same 100 kVA 400 volt 400 volt 3 phase star connector alternator. So 3 phase star connector alternator due to the following data. So the same value friction and vintage loss is equal to 340 watts. Open circuit core loss is equal to 480 watt. RF is equal to 180 ohms and RA is equal to 0.02 ohms. The voltage applied to the field winding is 220 volt. The field current loss will be, so we have four answer: 270 watts, 258 watt, 480 watt, 250 watt. So the answer is, so field loss is equal to 220 squared divided by 180 is equal to, so V by R. This is our main term. We get 169 watt. So this is the nearby value is 270 watts. So same problem, same data. So friction and vintage loss is equal to 340 watts. Open circuit core loss is equal to 480 watt. The RF is equal to 180 ohms and RA is equal to 0.02 ohms. The voltage applied to the field winding is 220 volt. The efficiency of the machine at a half load is 96.7, 95 percentage, 94.2, 97. So the answer is total loss at half load. So total loss at half load is equal to, so we need to calculate all the things. 340 plus 480 plus 258 plus 268.9 is equal to 1347 watt. So efficiency is equal to 1 minus 1347, 1347 watts divided by 40,000 plus 1347. We get 96.47. So this is a input VA plus losses. So same problem, 100 kVA 400 volt 3 phase star connected alternator due to following data. Friction and vintage losses is equal to 340 watts. Open circuit core losses is equal to 480 watt. RF is equal to 180 ohms. RA is equal to 0.02 ohms. The voltage applied to the field winding is 220 volt. The load losses at a full load is 1033 watt, 500 watt, 500 watt, 4 550 watt, 540 watt, 940 watt. So we have four different answers. So let me discuss the short circuit losses at full load is equal to 3 into 131.22 square into, from the previous question we take 131.22 into 0.02, we get 1033 watts. Then next question, a 100 kVA 400 volt 3 phase star connected alternator. Due to following data, friction and vintage loss is equal to 340 watt, open circuit core losses is equal to 480 watt. 480 watt. RF is equal to 180 ohms. RF is equal to 180 ohms. RA is equal to 0.02 ohms. The voltage applied to the field winding is 220 volt. Efficiency at full load is, we have four different answers. A 97 percentage, B 96.5 percentage, C 92 percentage, D 95 percentage. So answer 97 percentage. So total losses at a full load is equal to, so we need to calculate all the losses. So 440 plus 480 plus 1033 plus 268.9, we get 2122 watt. So efficiency is equal to, we need to calculate 1 minus 2122, that is 2122 divided by the losses plus total input is equal to 97.4%. The given variable losses. So given variable losses. The given variable losses are 5 kilowatt FR, A 500 kVA, 11 kV, 3 phase star connected alternator having armature resistance, having the armature resistance of 4 ohm. Armature resistance is 4 ohm. Calculate the current at which maximum efficiency occurs. We have 20.4 amps, 10.2 amps, 40 amps, 26 amps. So the answer is 20.4 amps. Then a given variable losses are 5 kilowatt, 50 kVA, 11 kV, 3 phase star connected alternator having armature resistance of 4 ohms. Calculate the full load armature current per phase. Here are 26.24 amps, 20.41 amps, 79 amps, 40 amps. So the answer is A 26.24 amps. Then we move to the next question. A synchronous machine with its field winding on stator and a polyphase armature winding on rotor. Synchronous machine with its field winding on stator and a polyphase armature winding on rotor. At steady state, its air gap field is first one stator with respect to stator, stationary with respect to stator. Second one rotating at double the speed ns with respect to rotor. Third, rotating in direction opposed to rotor. So we have three combinations. We have three combinations. So from that we have A 1, 2, 3. That sequence. B only 1, C 1 and 2 and 3, D 2 and 1. So the answer is A. All the statements are correct. Then synchronous machine with its field winding on the rotor. Synchronous machine with its field winding on the rotor and the polyphase armature winding on stator. At steady state running condition, its air gap field is A. Rotating at a synchronous speed with respect to stator. B. Stationary with respect to rotor. C. Rotating in the direction of the rotor. Rotation. Then all of the mentioned. So the answer is all of the mentioned. So we need to find the answer. So the answer is, as a field is on the rotor, the field will be set up with respect to rotor. That means rotating at synchronous speed with respect to stator. So the synchronous machines always rotate along with the rotating magnetic field. So then we move to the next question. Consider a three-phase cylindrical rotor alternator. Cylindrical rotor alternator means rotor alternator means it is a non-salient pole machine. A EMF generated by a armature reaction lags armature current by 90 degree. It lags armature current by 90 degree. B. Air gap voltage. Air gap voltage leads the flux by 90 degree. C. Air gap voltage lags the field by 90 degree. D. Armature reaction MMF lags the field by 90 degree plus internal power factor angle. So we need to find the sequence. A. ABD. B. ACD. C. BD. D. CD. So the answer is, as usual, the air gap voltage will lag the field flux by 90 degree to generate the EMF. In a three-phase cylindrical rotor alternator, it is otherwise called as non-salient pole machine. So if it is a cylindrical pole or turbo alternator, we must only come to the point that is, it is a non-salient machine. Then synchronous reactance is sum of mutual and leakage reactance, magnetizing and leakage reactance, magnetizing and mutual reactance, mutual and magnetizing and leakage reactance. So A, Xs is equal to magnetizing reactance plus leakage reactance. Then reactive power output of a synchronous generator is limited by the reactive power output of a synchronous generator is limited by armature current and field current. Armature current and field current. Another thing, field current and load angle. Field current and load angle. Third, load angle and excitation and armature current only. So answer is A. Q is equal to F into Ia into If. Then we move to the problem. A 10 kV kilowatt, 400 volt, 3 phase, 4 pole, 50 hertz induction motor develops the rated output at rated voltage with its slip ring shorted. The maximum torque is equal to twice the full load torque twice the full load torque twice the full load torque acquired at a slip of 10% with zero external resistance in the rotor circuit. The slip at full load torque will be once again read the question. A 10 kilowatt 400 volt 3 phase 4 pole 50 hertz induction motor develops the rated output at rated voltage with its slip ring shorted. So let me see the answer. So here it is a 2.7%. So this is the thing. Yeah, 10 kilowatt 400 volt 3 phase 4 pole 50 hertz induction motor develops the rated output at a rated voltage with a slip ring shorted. The maximum torque is twice the full load torque. Occur at the slip of 10% with zero external resistance in the rotor circuit. The speed at full load torque will be, we have 4 answers, 1460 rpm, 1400 rpm, 1360 rpm, 1470 rpm. So the answer is A. 1460 rpm. Okay students, so today we are discussing about the different parameter related to the losses and efficiency of the machine. Especially we are discussed different parameters and a different type of problems under theory part. The electrical machines like alternator, transformers, DC machines, induction machines. So all the thing maybe give the different view of viewing the electrical machines. So losses and efficiency of the electrical machines. So in this related topic, I provide the material to. So material to the students. So once again, I am in Karthikeyan, Department of Electrical Electronic. Let me end the session. Thank you. Thank you, students. Thank you for your kind patience. Thank you.